He will never play baseball. He will never ever go to school, and if he reaches his teenage years, it'll be a miracle. And my mum, she walked out, and I said to her as if I didn't hear, "What did the doctor say?" And she said, "Everything's going to be okay, son." When I was 12, I had a heart attack, and the doctor said to my mum, "He'll never play sport again." She walked out, and I said, "What did he say?" And she said, "Everything's going to be okay, son." And earlier this year, I finally got a chance to return the favour. Unfortunately, earlier this year, the doctors found 4 tumours in my throat. I've never seen my wife cry so much in all my life. The doctor said to me, "Michael, we're sorry, but tomorrow's not guaranteed. You need to slow down." But that's one thing we all have in common, because no one's guaranteed. I think that life is not about the amount of days that you live on this earth, but it's about what you fit into those days that allows you to live a remarkable life. And I remember driving home, and she called me, my mum, and she said, "Michael, what did the doctor say?" And I said to her, "Mum, everything's going to be okay." Every one of us, every single day, is blessed with the air that we breathe, the opportunities that we have. And I challenge you every single day to get out of bed and do something that your future self will be proud of.
But I think he was giving credit to himself rather than to God.
Do you think that the motivation of his mother, though, was something to inspire us? I'm not disagreeing with your point.
I think in my days, with man, this is impossible. With God, all things are possible. And I think, his mom sounds as though she was somebody who possibly had a tremendous amount of faith that everything was going to be okay. So she just put her faith in that those things were going to be okay, and thankfully they were.
Anybody else?
Here's a different perspective. The doctors gave him a 4% chance of living. 24 out of 25 people died. That's 1 out of 25 is 4%. So you have to look at it and say, did they do something, or was it just the odds that he was the one lucky guy? I'm just throwing that out there.
Anybody else?
It just becomes God's will. Whatever God's will is, it's God's will. It was His will that you live and you make it.
Who's not inspired by this? You don't have to raise your hand. Go ahead.
I wish I had a soundtrack when I was talking. I think that I would be much more compelling. The music in his speech was very inspirational,
Yes.
but it felt as though he was very focused on himself
Well, that's what Pat
as
said.
inspiration, as opposed to perhaps something bigger, because it was going to be okay whether he died or not. And maybe that was his mother's perspective. I think that's perhaps what some other folks are saying too.
Right, so Pat, that's what Pat's saying, and now he did make reference to God too. There was one point when he was done, he said just got hate.
He did, but that pink ribbon on the house really didn't feel like what his mother was shooting for, and I understand that's what he was, that would feel good. I would love to buy my mother a beautiful house too. That sounds amazing. But that to me was the point where I was like, wow, you just totally lost me, because that's not what your mom wanted at all. That wasn't what any of what she was doing was about.
Okay, all right. It's interesting, you guys are not responding like I thought.
Sorry.
I thought I was going to have, I'm going to always play the devil's advocate, and I thought I was going to have to go the other way, but that's very interesting.
He appeared to be in front of philanthropic group. I think he threw the house right in because he saw it and said, go back. It appeared he might have been in front of a group of fundraisers or something like that. So he kind of stuck something into his message
Got it.
that didn't fit. His reference to asking God to take him, that could be a generic God.
It could.
He didn't mention it's called a deity. He didn't mention anything, any other point other than when I want to die.
Okay.
So I don't really believe he was talking about anything there.
No?
Because there was no reference anywhere else until it was, I want to die. And then he brings up the name, he uses the word God, but I don't know what he meant.
Okay.
And to some extent, in the screen before, I think you can preference us by letting us know that this religion gives, this is the best thing to do, so you're probably all looking for where.
So I don't know if I just opened that email one day on a Monday morning without the perspective of looking for what, and wouldn't feel really inspired, but sitting here in the context of, I felt like the slide before I knew we were supposed to find.
See, so I conditioned you already.
I mean, maybe everybody else in the room would have felt
You
the
know
same
what's
way. I think
interesting?
sitting over coffee, I would have felt
This
inspired.
was at one time my first video, and then I've been expanding that. I probably left it I was supposed to be my intro this whole video. So I appreciate that, yeah. Let's go ahead.
And that's kind of what I was going to say. I think this is one of those things, and even by looking at goal cast, if I turn this on for motivation, to try and to work for my goals and to not give up, it's a good thing. But it depends on what you want to pull out of it and where your focus goes as to whether it could be a bad thing.
I think as sinful people, we a lot of times confuse our free will with God's will too, and I think a lot of times we tend to think, or, kind of speaking to what you were mentioning earlier about, how people will kind of take things in their lives and they'll kind of put in, well, this is God's choice for me, or this is God's path for me, or but sometimes it's really been our own free will that has led us on a certain path, and then, because ultimately God's will is that, we are to follow Him and we are to be saved.
Okay, all right, so you guys are going in a different direction, I thought. Let me just put, what about the blind man who came to Jesus, or the woman with bleeding, 12 years of bleeding, and she just touched the hem of the garment and was healed? What about all those healings that Jesus found it very important to heal their finite problems, and the fact that the Bible has all kinds of moments where the compassion of God performed miracles right on the spot. So the importance of that, and there is an importance that Jesus places on it, right?
In Jesus' case, it was everybody's faith that healed him. It wasn't Jesus.
That was so Jesus does the healing though, because Jesus produces the faith in us as well.
He produces the faith, but it's the faith that heals.
I think this would have been perfect.
Huh?
I think this would have been perfect if he had ended saying, and thanks to God, or in some way.
Mm-hmm. So you guys are bringing about different
everything he's done, he's going to be a banker, he's 20 years old, says he doesn't know what a CEO is, and 5 years later, he's got 600 people working for him.
I find that impressive.
Yeah, very impressive, very impressive. I mean, he's had heart attacks,
Yeah.
and he plays baseball.
This is an amazing story.
I mean, yeah, he's a superhuman.
Or it was a miracle, he calls it a miracle, he talks about his mother making those decisions and all that stuff too, right?
I think there's something to be said there too, though. I think, in my mind, what the mother was saying, I don't know that in this case, shows faith, or it doesn't, because we don't know what she thinks. I think a mother in this situation was being a mother.
Right.
I don't want my son to worry.
Right.
You don't have to deal with this. We will, but you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if he would have been so successful if he wouldn't have been sick.
That's an excellent point. Yeah.
And I wonder if the blessing is really him getting sick. You know, if,
That's an excellent point.
And not buying the house.
Yeah, he wouldn't have had that motivation and drive. Yeah, that happens often with people. All righty. I'm surprised by your answer. That these are very good answers. Maybe we don't need this class.
Now I have to ask, where did you think we were going?
Yeah, like I said, this was going to be the opening, and I'm already, going up. But you guys are absolutely right. But, okay, here's my thing. I want to see what my next slide was here. Let me go back to slideshow. Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe. I have great faith in fools. Self-confidence, my friends call it. I'm going to the next slide. Okay, let me just, I'll go ahead of myself. My question would be this, and you're all leading, I would suggest, in the right direction, and I don't take anything away from the fact that he went through these hurdles and his mom, and all this stuff to me is inspirational. I don't think we knock it one bit. That's as good as it gets from a human economy or perspective, right? My question is the 24 that had the lead in a body bag. So you have 24 parents, right, who made the same decision.
What did they do wrong?
They didn't do anything different. Now, what kind of motivation they had in doing it? Could it have been the same as the mom? But again, they left in body bags. And that is the point. I want an answer for the child that left in a body bag. And you guys are hitting on it. I would suggest that that was very inspirational. And I love listening to people who go through something like that, and they're here to tell you the story. And they thank God for it, because it's a human either miracle, or if you want to call it, it might still have been scientific or whatever. Every one of the people that Jesus healed, all the way up to the resurrecting of a guy who died, or a child who died, which is what happened. They all had to die again. But the question becomes, and Pat, you were the first one to speak, and I tried to play the devil's advocate. I think you were right on too, in that it is, I believe, in too much in me, if the success story doesn't exist with a child in a body bag, then you got 23 other human beings or families that would look at that and say, well, what would a parent do? Hopefully a parent whose child left in a body bag because of the same thing and the same test would be very thankful and praise God for the fact that he made it. But wouldn't it beg the question, and the most important question, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, says Solomon, and lean not on your own understanding in all your ways, so that you can make your path straight. Those who trust in themselves are, that's strong language. The word fools in the Old Testament isn't like we use fools. It would probably be more equivalent to those who trust in themselves are morons. We use fool a lot, hey fool, we use it much more lightly. Those who trust in themselves are morons, but those who walk in wisdom are kept safe. So, I'm not sure if it's the next slide or not, but, oh yeah, and this is, I gotta tell myself here, this is very important. There is a difference between building confidence and your ability to achieve within a scope of responsibilities. Between that and confidence and control of your being. So what we don't want to do is say, if a guy's a painter or a mom or a pilot or a doctor, is it okay to have confidence in what you do and you work at it want to have that confidence? You want to be good at what you do because you really do want to help other people and be a good mom and all that stuff? Yeah. So you got to be very careful. So this confidence that the mom had, now I would suggest it should be buffered. I would, you know, because she didn't know whether her, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I would not believe that it was because of the mom's faith that necessarily caused that to happen to his son, her son, because we can never say that somebody whose child died had less faith than the one. We don't want to go up that road. We do not want to go up that road. But in our world, we have confidence. And I would suggest, Jill, you're right in the sense that this guy, because he went through all that he went through, he was in maybe a better position to strive than those of us who didn't have those challenges, and he became that businessman with 600. And his confidence in doing what he's doing is absolutely important. But that, and there's a difference between that and what? Confidence in the control of your entire being, okay? And that's why on the other side of this, I have what? The child that, you know, is reliant on the umbilical cord, or a person who may be dying or is sick. In the end, you don't have confidence in your total being and, of course, your eternity, right? God is going to have that for you. We have this treasure in jars of clay, and Paul is talking about our lives. And the reason why we do have our brokenness, and this is the perspective of brokenness. And if you're ever in the hospital, I'll probably use this verse on you because you're broken. I used it today to show why we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all surpassing power is from God and not from us. Your broken body and this man's broken body, in the eternal perspective, is to promote God. When I'm broken, what Paul is saying is when you're broken, that's to show you that the power is from God and not yourself. And it should take you off your reliance on yourself. You have to. When you're in a situation where it's beyond your control. Paul actually says that's good news, and what that does for your faith, for the eternal, is something that you didn't have before your body was broken. That's his perspective, that's his point. He goes on to say, we are hard pressed on each side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not destroyed, abandoned, but not forsaken. Always caring about, I'm quoting Paul, always caring about the death of Jesus so that the life of Jesus may be manifested in our mortal flesh. Okay? So the real faith in the end, beyond that, I got better, and of course we all want to get better, right? That's the human reality. We're always doing it until the final strife and we end up dying. But our broken body is to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from ourselves. So what Paul is saying is, what is the bad news? And the bad news in that scenario with this man who made it, the bad news would have been if he didn't make it. And we're all very happy that he made it. But at the same time, what God says, the real truth, the real security is that when you're broken, that's actually showing you that you are going somewhere. Your brokenness tells you that you're on your way to heaven. And your brokenness flips things around. And what he's saying is, a natural human tendency is when I'm broken, I'm weak and I don't like it. Paul says, when you're broken, the only thing you have left is to look up, and that's all you need. And you're going to realize that because that's all you got. Right? So it puts you in a perspective when you're broken, and that only that can give you. All right. So I would suggest, Jill, when you say that inspired him or enabled him to go out and do what he did, as opposed to someone like some other person who didn't have to go through that. Ultimately, the person with true faith, and we'll get to passive faith because this is really important, is that Paul actually turns being broken from bad news to good news. But what perspective do you have to have? The only one you can have is the eternal perspective. If you don't want the eternal perspective, those are hollow words. They're not hollow, they're hollow words. But when you have the eternal perspective, right? And when all you have is God, it's kind of the same way as when I was a baby and all I had was my mom who changed my diaper. I'm definitely, we'll get to this come up next week. This one right here. What is the blind spot for a motivational speaker? Even though there is something to be said about survival, and there is, his success was in one sense in contrast to the child in the body bag. All right? He made it to the top of his mountain, and that's wonderful, and he deserves praise and honor, especially to God, right? But I couldn't get a baby bag, but what about the child? If there's no answer, with all things equal, and a mom who watched her child take that medication and die with equal faith, and it's absolutely possible. In fact, I'm sure there may have been somebody with more faith in this mother. If God doesn't have an answer for the child in the body bag, then there is no gospel. There is no gospel. I don't know why we're sitting in Bible study, but what are we going to talk about? The fact that there is an answer for the child in the body bag, and it's the answer that goes way beyond any human answer, or any aspect of survival that we need to be a part of. Right? Any thoughts? Questions?
So the other mom's faith has to be that her child's going to be safe eternally.
That's the ultimate one. Yeah. How many of you have been in a situation where your child is in the hospital, or your mom's in the hospital, or we're all going to act, or we're all like that, those same things, right? Mm-hmm.
I know our David is in there.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Anybody else?
It didn't say if she prayed first and asked God if God wanted her to.
Right,
do that.
that's true.
Did it?
Yeah, we don't, but let's say she believes in Jesus. Let's say she prayed. Let's say she's a Christian and all those things are happening, and she did all those things. There's something to be said for it, right?
As long as her faith remains the same in everything else.
Right. And when the answer is even when it's the bad answer, your faith actually gets stronger.
The Bible verse, blessed are they who have not seen. And yet, that's the verse that came to me for the 24.
Right. Right. What they saw was. Okay. Let's stop there, okay? Let's have a prayer. Dear Father, we thank you for our day together, and I pray that you would help me better explain and help us on this journey to find the peace of knowing that you are here, you are our transcendent God through Jesus, and it is through him that we truly do have peace. Enable us to recognize that in all of life's challenges, you are there, and enable us to have that eternal perspective always to guide us through so we do end up in your eternity, the eternal moment. Amen.
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Oh, I didn't even notice that, yeah. It's not fun, but just so you don't go, oh, great. It takes you once in a while. You know, you think once you're out of that and then healing and all this, you'll be able to wear shoes and do. It's like anything.
Well, she
How
knows
about
about
it? Yes, well, I know, I had the same, and they cut some out and then put it over, put
Yeah.
spurs in and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that was what she was describing to me. I'm going, oh, that doesn't sound like fun at all.
But the point is, don't be surprised if it's like 9 months to a year and you go, oh, okay, now it feels more. Because
Yeah, there's
it's
a,
like anything else, it's a new one. It's better than it was. I don't know if it's what it was before it got one better. Yeah. But yeah. It will be much better. It won't be much better.
you want me to move the cart around the other side?
I'm sorry to be so nasty.
Sorry, Pastor, but. I'm on the table.
Oh, good God.
This is your first day out. Took her to dinner, brought her here. Yeah, but that was, they stuck that one in and got the lid, they just barely do the blood back, but when they got the shit, take the medication, man, it's just like, the other way to do it again, and I'm like, I'm not organized. Let's go,